What's going on, everyone? Migz of the Decksmiths, back with Dragon Ball. And yes, back with another deck profile. I know it's been a while since I've done my constant fluent deck profiles for Dragon Ball, but to be fair, I decided to go like on a small vacation slash, well, not small, but take like a vacation slash hiatus from doing Dragon Ball deck profiles, because nowadays we do tend to burn ourselves out, and it sometimes, especially when you have like a lot of stress and a lot of things going on in your head, nowadays it's kind of tough to keep track on a lot of things. Hence the way I was presenting my last Pokemon deck. Do apologize for that, but I promise the next deck profile for Pokemon would be much better and much more enthusiastic. I need to give myself like time to like refresh and be back into this when I felt that I was ready. This deck profile actually came as a request from one of our viewers in our Discord page, and those comes from the fans of Crystal Commerce Gaming. So to all the requests, this is the deck that you guys have been asking for, and as you guys mentioned in the Discord, thank you guys for showing the love on the Broly deck. I really do appreciate that. Hopefully I have a lot more Broly decks for you guys down the line. And I also want to give a shout out to Crystal Commerce Gaming. I mean, since coming into Digimon, we're trying to like kickstart it. It's so far it's been looking really well, and thank you guys for supporting us. And even when we jump into Magic the Gathering, we're taking our time to like understand Magic the Gathering. We're like getting more in depth with it, but we're only doing commanders, so please, despacito, like that Spanish song will go. So, if you guys stay for the video, I do have a quick announcement that I am gonna make. It's gonna be one of the things that I'm gonna bring back, and you guys are probably gonna love this. So, in the meantime, I hope you guys do enjoy this deck profile. This is to all of you guys at Crystal Commerce Gaming. So, this is of course the Red Broly deck, the Gohan Reboot 2.0, if you guys want to look at it like that. So, we're gonna go into our leader. Has a activate main. Once per turn, you add a card from your life to your hand, and this card gains critical for the turn. Second activate main, you can add up to one red extra card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck to your hand. Shuffle and negate this skill for the game. So that's pretty good. It's like the Green Broly BR, but instead of getting a Frieza army, you get an extra card. Freaking good either way. If you don't have Planet Vampa, if you already have Planet Vampa, you can get yourself a negate. And if you don't got Vampa, if you don't search out Vampa because you don't have it, then I don't know what's wrong with you. And then for the Awaken, when your life is at 4 or less, you can choose up to 2 of your energies, switch them to active mode, and flip it over. So, on the Awakened side, Broly the Awakened Demon is permanent. If you have a red Broly BR card in play, this card gains critical. In play, to all of you that are like new to Dragon Ball, when a card says in play, it has to be in the battle area. A battle card can be in your hand as a battle card, but if it's not in play, it's not considered a battle card as of yet. It's in the official manual, which they usually update every time they add new mechanics, every 3 months. So I would say take time to read the manual for Dragon Ball. It'll actually be very helpful for all of you guys, especially knowing timings. That way, like, you don't feel that you got cheated. Second auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card and it gains plus 5k for the battle. So on swing, no matter what, he's going to be a 20k beater. And then the second auto, you choose 1 card from your hand and discard it. That's a cost for when this occurs. When one of your red Broly BR cards is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, choose up to 1 of your red Broly BR cards with a cost of 4 or less in your hand and play it. So they have to be very careful with killing one of your Brolys, because if they kill a red Broly, another one is going to potentially come out. So that's pretty nasty. So we're going to leave that aside for now. We're going to start off with our small little, with our Unison of choice. This is going to be the Kale Savage Berserker. If you guys are beginners to Dragon Ball, you picked up a Broly and you want to know what's good Unison, and you don't have a chance to pick up Piccolo Juniors, this also provides extra alternatives. The Kale Savage Berserker, when you play this card, you can look at the top 3 cards, add a mono red Saiyan from it into your hand. The rest of it, you put it to the bottom of the deck. It's pretty good. And then the auto, which is a once per turn, whenever you activate a skill that's a swap, you add 1 marker to this card. And for the activate main, which is a -7, geez, for a specified of 1, which comes in with 1 marker, why is it has a high cost for a -7? Well, the activate main, for removing 7 markers, you choose up to one of your opponent's leaders, it negs it, minuses it by 15k until the end of that turn, and then you get to play a Broly. You get to play a mono red battle card with a cost of 5 or less and has swap on it from your hand. So off the bat, guaranteed, anything 5 and under of the Broly swaps, you're able to replay it. It's really good. I say, in my opinion, is pretty good. I mean, you can't go wrong with this card. Really cannot. So, for the Broly chains, unfortunately, I don't have the promo Broly at my disposal. If I did have it, definitely I will add it in. But at the time being, the deck still works without it. So if you guys were expecting, if some of you tryhards were expecting it, I am sorry. It's more catered to budget players. Whoops, sorry on that, a little shaking. For Broly Saiyan Youth is a swap 3 into a red Broly BR with a cost of 3. It's permanent. If you have Ba in play, it gains a plus 11k power. So if you have Ba on board, it becomes literally a 15k beater for 1 cost. And then the auto, when this card is played, you cannot play any other copies for the turn. So it prevents you from abusing your 1-drops and making it super easy to just swarm. Only yellow has that beastiness. 3 of your 3-drop Brolys, swap 4 for 1 red for a Broly with a cost of 4. Servant, if you're not aware about the mechanics of Servant, Servant is a mechanic that goes with Overlord. Servant pumps up that battle card by 10k, so essentially Broly is a 19 instead of a 9. Unfortunately, the downside to it is you cannot switch it to active mode during your charge phase. You have to switch to active mode outside of your charge phase. And in the auto, when this card is played, you can choose up to 1 mono red Paragus BR from your hand, and you play it. Next up, when you swap, you got into your 4-drop Broly, and this is where from 4-drop forward is gonna get pretty insane. So Broly Power of the Great Apes is has a swap 5 for 1 red to a mono red Broly with a cost of 5. It also has Servant, so essentially he's a 20k beater. And the auto, when this card is played, you can choose up to one of your red Unisons, and you can add a marker to it. Up to, meaning it's optional. And then your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, and they send it to the warp. So it's like a mini forcing hit. And then they get the card back at the end of their turn, at the end of the next turn. It's pretty good. So you make them go down -1. Then, when you swap, you go into your 5-drop Super Saiyan Broly Combat Evolution. This one has critical. It has swap 6, but this one is more restrictive. So it depends really on who goes first or how your opponent decides they want to play it. You swap into a red Broly with a cost of 6, but you can only use the swap skill if your opponent has 3 energies or you have 4 energies. Either way, if they try to slow you down, it's not going to work because it's going to make it worse. The auto is the same thing like the 4-drop Broly. When you play it, you can choose to add a marker to one of your Unisons, and your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand. Still pretty good. And a 30k critical early as like for 3 energies, 2 energies if possible, or 3. It's pretty busted. Then when you swap into this behemoth. Now they made sure this card never gotten abused. If some of you guys say, oh, this card needs to be banned because it's too good. No, because it has unique. Even if they put out 1, it's pointless. It has unique, it has critical, and it has double strike, which is pretty good. I think outside of Clash of Fate Frieza, this is also another card that has both the critical and double strike, which is pretty nasty. The auto, if your leader is red, when this card is played, you could choose up to 1 of your red Unisons. You can add 2 markers to it. So he adds 2 markers. And then you choose 3 cards from their hand and send it to the warp. And they get it back at the end of the next turn. So it's kind of like forcing hit on steroids. You choose the cards that gets warped. You don't look at it, you just choose it at random, which is pretty busted. Sadly, don't have the SCR Broly. That is still getting into the works, but of course, once I have it, it'll be in the deck. Of course, there are recommendations on what to add in here. There will be a card that I will point out, which you can always replace for that Broly, for that SCR, if you have it. To kick off for the extra little support, we got our red Paragus. Oath of Vengeance is unique, so you can only have 1 copy on the board. It's Overlord, but Overlord, you basically choose a servant card, a battle card with servant in your battle area, put it to the bottom of the deck, and you draw 1. But this deck, you're never using the servant mechanic, so don't ever use the servant mechanic with any of your Brolys. People will look at you like you're a noob. The auto, when this card is played, you can look at up to the top 5 cards of your deck. You can choose either a red Unison with a specified cost of 1, hints good old Kale, or a mono red Broly BR card to your hand, and you shuffle the deck. Pretty good. This is also one of the targets that you use to play with your 3-drop Brolys, because like for 1 energy, swap it to 2 cards. It's pretty good. And of course, for next support, which is Ba, Broly's first friend. It's a blocker, and when it's played, you can search for. You can add up to 1 mono red Broly with a cost of 5 or less from your deck to your hand. So it doesn't get you the 6 cost, but it lets you get anything else that you need. It's pretty good. If you need to, if you have an SCR, you can cut one of these out and add the SCR Broly. It'll work just as fine. For the extras that goes with it, of course, it's kind of a staple. You can push it to 3 if you want, but I wouldn't say you need more than 3. Bardock the Resolute. You don't want to max copies of this out, so I think 2 is good enough. The reason why is because outside of it being double strike, it's unique. So you gotta be careful with that. So if your leader is red, when your opponent, when a card in your opponent's life is added to their hand or is sent to the drop area via a skill, say Gohan Burn, they make you take a life from the skill. Their card has critical. You lost the card, went to the drop area because of the skill of critical. You get to play, if this card's in your hand, flash, play the card. Pretty good. And then the auto, which is a once per turn, which will also get the opponent kind of a little bit wary. If your opponent, when your opponent activates a counter skill, you can switch this card to active mode. So it gets very nasty. So it pretty much puts a little bit of fear into the fact that, you know, they're raiding a double striker. The last of the Overrealms, 2 SS3 Gokus. If you have the other 6-cost Mass Saiyan, you could actually run them in here instead. The overall 4-cost Bardock that lets you draw 2 and discard 1, you can also run that as well. But I put this in the deck because it's also critical, and Double Strike, which is also for no energies. Overall 6 puts also more pressure on the opponent. Now, next up, 2 Champas, because you gotta hit them with the gotcha bitch moment, and when you close out the game. I know that a lot of people prefer using the Supreme Kai, but to be very fair, if you are one of those guys who want to foil out your deck, the only reason the Supreme Kai is in that deck outside of Champa is because Supreme Kai comes in foil. They say, oh, but they do the same thing. No, they don't. Champa, when you use this card as a combo, your attacker automatically gains critical. They gain Double Strike. As to Supreme Kai, you can actually misplay, forget to call it, and you get called out because you missed your calling on it. So, if you guys want to use the Supreme Kai, that's all up to you. That's absolutely fine. It's your opinion. I like using this because I don't have to worry about missing timing. It's like, oh no, you missed timing. No, I didn't, because this automatically gives it to him. Because automatically I have to choose the attacker. And obviously I'm going to combo it on the attacker, so that's that. And like I said, if you guys are a Hollow Fiend, that's the only reason why the Supreme Kai is used over this any day. In my opinion, at least. And of course, we cannot forget our good old super combos. If your life is at 4 or less, you can, and all your energies are red, so it requires to have mono colors. This card gains plus 10k for the battle. It gains plus 10k combo power, and you can put 1 card from your hand to the bottom, and if you do, draw 2. So the drawing is pretty good. So it's a pretty good super combo, honestly, in my opinion. It's like the starter deck super combo Paragus, but for red. And I like the fact that they do a lot of these different versions. That way it gives more options for other decks. Now, to go with the extra cards, 2 Planet Vampas. You don't need. You can run 1 if you want. I wouldn't recommend running more than 2 because you're only gonna need 1 on board. You just charge the other one, or you discard it for whatever the reason. Is a field, and if your leader card is a red Broly BR, you add 1 card from your life to your hand. Look at the top 7. You can either choose Ba, Paragus, Broly, or Goliathite BR. Out of those, that has a power of 5k or less, and you could play it. So it lets you play it for free. If you do play a card, however, you have to discard a card from your hand. So it's kind of like a even exchange. For the counters of choice, I have 3 after images. Once again, I'm going to stress this out. This card does not negate, it only modifies power. It has to say negate the attack for it to actually negate attack. Counter does not mean that it's negated. And again, sadly, there has been some people that have thought that it was a negate, but it's not. Just read the card. If you have, I believe it's called Violent Rays, the extra card with the Broly BR on it, like doing a beam out of his mouth, you can actually run that instead. I actually chose to run this because, it always comes in as a backup plan. You want to go over my Broly? Work for it. That's basically what I see. Last but not least, 3 of that's all you got. Is a negate attack, and then I can choose to discard a card from my hand, and if I do, I can neg up to 2 cards by 15k. So it's really, really good. So that's basically it for the deck. I hope you guys did enjoy. I know this kind of took a little bit longer than necessary, but giving inputs and insights. I know it's been a while since I've done Dragon Ball deck profiles, but thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for making it this far. Now, this is going to be for the announcement that's coming up. So, to all of you guys who have stayed over in this video, I'm going to be doing a little series for you guys that's going to be called the Pick Your Leader Deck Profile. If you're not aware about the Pick Your Leader Deck Profile, it was basically a little series I did yearly in which I chose 2 leaders, and kicking off the year or any other random times that I've done it, it would be casting votes in regards to which leaders you wanted to see first, and whatever leader you chose, you had the most vote, would be the one that gets aired. In this case, I'm gonna have 2 leaders that I'm gonna show you guys. The one with the most vote will be aired on YouTube, as to the one with the least vote will be aired exclusively to the Facebook page. And for the 2 leaders to kick off the other boxes, we have our Heroine Bulma and Nappa. So this is basically the 2 leaders that are going up head to head in the Pick Your Leader Deck Profile. It's very simple. In this video, you could just hashtag Heroine Bulma or hashtag Nappa. Again, hashtag Bulma Heroine or Heroine Bulma, or hashtag Nappa. This contest is official the moment this deck profile aired. Which leaders do you want to see first? Also, if you want to participate for additional votes, you only get 1 vote, but you can actually get additional votes joining our Facebook group page, and you can even join our Discord. And as you get welcomed in, there will be a little section where you could just message us individually and just hashtag the leader you want to see. So let me know what you guys think of the deck. Thank you guys to Crystal Commerce Gaming. And of course, let me know which one you want to see. Hashtag Bulma Heroine or hashtag Nappa for the following deck profile. Whichever one of those deck profiles that has the most votes is the one that's going to be aired on YouTube, while the second will only be aired as a Facebook exclusive. Thank you guys for staying this long for this video. This is Migz of the Decksmiths signing out. Peace out, and of course, most importantly, around this given time, take care of yourselves, guys.